Is this a 5 o'clock free crack giveaway?
A quick word. I'll be right back. Hello, and welcome back to Coffee Rhetoric. It has been a hot minute. I haven't really been able to get on here since my tipsy New Year's Eve post, but been going for a minute, and now I'm back with the jump off because I have a quick Coffee Rhetoric thought about something that's just come to my attention, and that's been spreading like wildfire, like when Tyrone Biggums got that message about the 5 o'clock free crack giveaway. Listen, I thought that we were moving beyond the age of fake news and disinformation. And I know a lot of larger platforms have been trying to stamp out people using their social media platforms to spread disinformation. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but I know sometimes when I'm on Twitter and it might be I've already read an article, or I might be super anxious to share it. But a lot of the times I've noticed now that sites like Twitter, when you just immediately hit share on an article, they'll be like, hold on there. Do you actually want to read this article? I've been noticing that, and I've been noticing that Facebook has been putting warning signs on people's things when they share articles in like groups and things like that, where they'll flag it for basically being false or not being completely true. So with that being said, I thought we were moving away from spreading this information, but you have certain demographics of people and who just who are bent on spreading fake news.
You are fake news.
So what am I talking about? Yesterday I saw something come across my Twitter. Well, no, it came on not only on my Twitter timeline, but it came across my YouTube feed where someone shared something by Angela Stanton, of all people. But somebody shared something from her that made me go, this doesn't look right. So what did I do? I did not immediately spread the news. What I did was I went and I fact checked. And just like I thought, it was just a lot of fooly-wang being spread. It's like a horrible game of the telephone game where you see information where information gets released, but by the time certain people, particularly if they have a nefarious agenda, by the time they get to it and it reaches the masses, it's all fucked up and told all wrong. So I don't know if you've heard, but there's been this story going around that the that the Biden administration is allegedly spending $30 million on crack pipes to distribute to promote racial equality. Now, just on its head, it sounds ridiculous, and I've seen several headlines since I saw this yesterday with that very misleading headline: Biden administration to spend $30 million to distribute crack pipes. Like, just on its head, alone, that headline alone, just sounds fucking ridiculous and stupid. And you know, for most people, it should have been enough, not just for me, but for anybody to go fact check that information. And so if you see that headline come across any of your feeds, or if you see someone sharing it, you know, can you please fact check it? Don't just take it and run with it, because that's not, just like I thought, that's not the case at all. Like I saw it picking up stream on Twitter and YouTube. I decided to do some fact checking, and you know, the only sources I saw sharing, signal boosting the information about this $30 million crack distribution mess to promote racial equality. The only sources I saw sharing this with that misleading headline, I saw, of course, Fox News. I saw the Daily Mail sharing it with that misleading headline. And I saw the Shade Room. Really? And then I saw like random other kind of obscure right-wing news sites. And then I saw that the GOP were the only ones on Twitter with the fake outrage and with you know, clutching their proverbial pearls. So again, those are all red flags to me. And I just feel like, you know, there are certain things kind of like dog whistles that kind of raise my antenna, that makes me want to fact check things. And I really wish this was the norm amongst our cult of personality, but unfortunately it's not. And you know, I feel like the headlines with the Biden administration spending $30 million to distribute crack pipes, I just feel like, not I feel like it's nothing more, just as I thought, it's nothing more than a GOP lie. Okay. Even worse about that nefarious and untrue headline is that a lot of Republicans have been taking that kind of headline, that $30 million crack pipes to promote racial equality. They've been taking that headline, and a lot of Republicans are currently on Twitter trying to reignite stereotypes with a lot of dog whistling. They're on Twitter reigniting stereotypes about the crack epidemic and the Black community.
This is crack cocaine, seized a few days ago by drug enforcement agents in a park just across the street from the White House. It could easily have been heroin or PCP. It's as innocent looking as candy, but it's turning our cities into battle zones.
Because as we all know, they love any opportunity to pathologize Black folks as a collective, and we all know that train is never late. Even crazier, you know, and before I get it, I just think it's just really wild how disinformation gains traction across social media. Even crazier is that I see a lot of Black folks, especially Black people who are part of these kind of weird fringe movements and who are self-proclaimed conservatives. I see them resharing this shit.
It only takes a little bit of white brainwash to activate the coon chip in the average Negro.
Why? Like, why can't we learn how to fact check as a collective? If anybody should fact check thing, it's us, right? So like I said, urban media sites, I've seen the Shade Room sharing it. Like a lot of them are just taking it and running with it, obviously to drive clicks and views to their platforms. And let me tell you what's really going on. What's really happening with the Biden administration. Let me get this out of the way. What's really going on with the Biden administration is that they actually just announced what's called, they just announced this initiative called the Harm Reduction Grant. Okay, that's what it actually is. And the Harm Reduction Grant Program, what it's actually meant for is to, and I'm reading it right off of the website. And that's another thing. This grant is very plainly written out in black and white for everybody to see. And it doesn't say a goddamn thing about the distribution of crack needles, or nothing about them passing out crack needles to promote racial equality, or nothing about crack needles and black. It's just ridiculous. And again, it just grinds my gears that, you have black people, and I don't even care what fringe movement you're a part of, or what your political affiliation is, but the fact that how the black community, how it's historically been criminalized and pathologized, and how the government and how the media use the crack epidemic to criminalize and stereotype and pathologize the black community. So y'all, and by y'all, because I'm leaving myself out of this equation, but we more than anybody should immediately recognize what dog whistling is, particularly if it's coming from the GOP. Because again, I don't know if I can say this, my niggly senses were immediately went up when I read that headline. And that is why I went to fact check. So what the harm reduction grant program is actually meant for is to help mitigate cases of overdosing, and it's meant to mitigate cases of overdosing and to stop the spread of infectious diseases. So that can come from maybe when people with addiction, substance abuse problems and addiction, who are grappling with those things, maybe if they're using used needles, for instance. So what this grant is meant to do is to help stop the spread of infectious diseases and cases of overdosing. And it's also meant to support the distribution of FDA-approved overdose reversal meds to folks who are at risk of overdose. It doesn't say anything here about, the Biden administration set aside $30 million for crack needle distribution, crack pipe distribution, crack anything distribution. It says it right here, plain as day. You can go to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration's website. I will link that in the description box of this video, but you can read it outlined as plain as day. It tells you who qualifies, what the purpose of it for, who's eligible, all that stuff, where the grant came from. It's got contact information. So people, can we stop with this fucking crack pipe lie? It's a lie.
Now, reading is fundamental.
It's 2022, and then I see that some of our some of my folk, they continue to get baited into fuck shit. Because we refuse to fact check or recognize things for what they are when a certain demographic of people get online spreading propaganda because they clearly have an agenda. And you don't fact check and you just gleefully help propagate fuck shit that really means us no good, and that further pathologizes the Black community as a collective. So can we please stop doing that? I feel like you see shit from blood-sucking MAGA Republicans on social media ringing the alarm about just BS. That should be motivation enough for any of us, not even just Black people, but just people in general. If you claim to have good sense, if you see the source, it's coming from a nefarious source, that should be motivation enough for you to, just out of your own curiosity, if anything else, to go fact check. Can we do better, please? Please. On that note, I'm going to end this. Go fact check. Go on the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration's website. Read about what the grant is about. You won't see a goddamn thing, not a mother sucking thing about the distribution of crack pipes or crack needles or anything of the sort. Again, this is nothing more than right-wing dog whistling, and people just fall for it hook, line, and sink. And I hope some of y'all asses get flagged for resharing that bullshit. And you're helping propagate and spread disinformation. So on that note, I at some point would like to, speaking of fuck shit, at some point when I have the time, I'd like to have a virtual discussion and do a live feed about Tandiwe Newton and her fuck shit. But I digress. So I stay tuned for maybe that. And on that note, that is it. Let's stop the spread of disinformation. That's it. That's all. Stay safe. Stay away from those crack pipes. Stop listening to crack pots. And do your research.
I'm Tyrone Biggum. I heard that I can win a lot of money and I get a pig testicle done with all the fixings. You gotta play to win.